Today it's time for another Björk soundtrack, I guess. Because I thought when people were telling do also Selma songs where you're just going through her whole discography. So I was thinking about yeah, sure, okay. Then I'm going to look into what else after that is there. And I read that Selma songs would be the next. So the people that wrote that, thank you very much. There's a soundtrack right here. It's from the motion picture Dancer in the Dark. So I did some research, so just to know what kind of movie that is, because I didn't know the movie. I have never heard of it, but then I looked it up on IMDb. So because I'm also like a huge movie fan, I watch so many movies. I have in the past watched so many movies, so I was really surprised that I've never heard of this one. Maybe I did. I'm just like dumb. I don't know. But anyways, so I thought, well, I don't want to watch the movie because I can't react to it because of copyright reasons. I can't just film that. So I guess I'm just first going to listen to the soundtrack. Then I'm going to watch the movie, and then anything else, like for example the score and things. So I think that's my plan that I'm going to do. And after that, I'm going to react to Vespertine. Also, so I don't know in which order I will put out Selma songs or Vespertine, I don't know. So we'll see that. But for now, let's just listen to the soundtrack right here. I'm also a huge soundtrack fan. I listen to some soundtracks of my favorite movies. I'm a huge classical guy, if that makes sense. Like I love listening to classical music, and also because of that, to just straight up soundtracks. So yeah, I guess we should just jump right into it. The first soundtrack or OST or track or song, whatever, is called just Overture. Mm, are there lyrics? No, there aren't. I guess. So that there wouldn't be that many, maybe. But let's see. So I don't know which kind of genres this movie is in, so I'm also really excited how the sound evolves or is just founded, or how much Björk was really putting into it right here. But let's see. Let's go. Well, yes. It's a typical classical soundtrack. It's just horns. It's typical overture to just jump right into some deep and high, and also just a whole orchestra of just brasses. Um, like some of my favorite movies just does that thing. Right at the beginning was just only do some deep horns first sounds like some really deep The Shining. But I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Shining soundtrack, and that's one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. So first I thought, oh, maybe there's an idea of like the Shining soundtracks, deep brass soundtracks also from the beginning, but then it just like went into this pretty basic overture. But I think that's as a first track and just going into this soundtrack is really good, and I like that this stuff like going into this one. But let's see what's the second track got for us, which is called House. Oh wait, there are more. Hold up. Like on Spotify there are 7 tracks. That's a question right now. But I guess I'm just going to do so because my favorite things is just jazz track, right? So probably it's just a basic track from there. So I think I'm just going to do wait, let me look up how I should react to this actually. Hold up. Let me give a minute. Give me a minute. So I guess it's not a real soundtrack, it's just more like she is singing that part or the lyrics just straight up. I think I'm going to see that when I watch the movie, but let's just move on with the track. Cvalda? Cvalda? I don't know how it's pronounced. I don't want to do any more mistakes with the pronouncing, so let's just go right into it. And there are also lyrics, so let's see. This one is really interesting, like going into some real life recordings, field recording stuff, and then goes like it sounds like a printer was going on there, a paper, and like real life scratching, like she's in her office. Is that right? I don't know. But it sounds really interesting how that one formed into this grand orchestra with those jangly horns and just so much fun going into this one. And it sounds really great. So let's see what else is good. Well, yeah, I liked that track. It was really fun. It was really interesting how that like went into some like different sides, like from scratches from beginning, and I think there was some genius behind it. And like all of this album, I could like tell you, I'm interested how the movie is like, but because if you like look at this cover, I first thought it was going to be some like really abstract, straight up weird movie. But so far, it has an interesting sound, and I wonder what it's like. But let's see what the third track got for us. I've seen it all. Let's go.
What about China? Have you seen the Great Wall?
All walls are great if the roof doesn't fall, and the man you will marry, the home you will share.
To be honest, I really don't care. Just andante, Monday, I don't care. My pulse was as high on my very first day.
This sounds like some more of the very string heavy stuff of homogenic, with some trip hop kind of like beats going straight into that. It sounds great and I love this right now. I don't know who Peter Stormare is. I guess it's an actor of the movie, but so far I really like this track. So yeah.
One little spark, I have seen what I choose, and I've seen what I need, and that is enough. To want more would be greed. I've seen what I was, and I am what I'll be. I've seen it all. There is no more to see.
You see it all, there is no more to see.
Yeah, I really like that track. Also tried some structures she tried here on this track also, and some of my beats, like recording some real stuff that, like for example, like steps, like footsteps or something for like footwork stuff. It's fun to like use real weird field recording objects stuff for your recordings, or the structure and the rhythm of your beat, like also at the end where she used the train, which always works pretty well. And also on this track, I've seen it all. It works very well, and I love that one, how she steps up into that kind of direction for this album. So yeah, Cvalda and I've Seen It All, 2 great tracks so far. So yeah, let's move on to the next track, the 4th track, which is called Scatterhead.
Black night is falling, the sun is gone to bed, the innocent are dreaming as you should sleepyhead, sleepyhead. See on you. You are gonna have to find for yourself. 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 You are gonna have.
This one is more interesting, going into some like grand vocal explosions right here, and judging that it's 3 years after Homogenic, there gotta be some things that she changed over her songwriting and stuff. And this right here, think is very interesting how this one forms. The vocals are more extremes and going into some like really heavy downs and ups and up and even upper. It's great how Björk can really like almost let her voice explode, and it's amazing and it sounds amazing, especially when she sings this, "You are gonna have to find out for yourself." It sounds so great, and then she goes into this lo-fi deep kind of hushy voice, and it sounds amazing. And I love that also on this track here, right here. Also with those strings at the end, really emotional, heavy in it. Has a lot of qualities to it, and I enjoyed this track. Some really good trip hop electronics with some beautiful strings all over, and some going to some classical things. It's just really great, and I love this soundtrack so far. So yeah, there were no lyrics so far, though. Just going to move on with Spotify. I mean, that's alright, right? So anyways. The next track is called In the Musicals. So let's see what that got for us. Let's go.
How come I can't help adore it? It's just another musical. No one minds it at all if I'm having a ball. There's always some plan to catch me when you fall. And you were always there to catch me.
This is like some really abstract almost stuff with like so many different percussions going in and ideas. While this is less electronic than the previous one and less trip hoppy, like while her singing isn't as great as the previous one, I still enjoy this track. So let's see if there's something that really catches me.
To catch me when I fall. I don't mind it at all if you're having a ball. This is a musical, and I will always be there to catch you, to catch me. You're always there to catch me when I'd fall.
That was a really good track again, but while I don't think that the length is really that, gives the track really an intense moment or something, because I think that the first half wasn't really making it for me, but after that, with those huge strings coming in, really playful, so much into it, with the vocals still aren't really giving their best as Björk could do, if you know what I mean. Like, she's not using her full 100% potential right there, but still, think that that track was alright. So let's move on to the next track, which is called 107 Steps.
29, 30,
31,
33,
35, 38, 42,
Yeah, that track was really intense. I don't know why they're counting. I guess I will see. But still, I think that the composition of that track was awesome. It was intense. It was fast. The percussion was really weird going into this one. I guess Björk has the idea because a classic composer wouldn't like use percussion like that, and it sounded amazing with some like reverb on them and stuff, and gives them a really weird rhythm also. So yeah, I like that track. So let's see what the last track right here got for us, which is called New World. Let's go.
Paris dancers in line, cobwebs a bakery sign. A sweet clementine. Dancers in line. I'm working to heaven from here. My breath.
This sounds like an outro when going into the last scene of a movie and then into the staff role, kind of like transition. And for that, it sounds interesting how it was like into this very groovy beat and stuff, and these almost triumphants. Though it sounds like a happy end, but I often read that it's pretty sad at the end, or like almost even unsatisfying. But I guess I'll see that when I watch the movie, so let's finish this one up. Those strings at the end really made that track for me. It kind of like reminds me of the ending track of the game or the video game Hades. At the end right there where are these like trip hoppy beat. It almost sound actually the same as that one. New World at the end right there. And it's a grand closer right there, and I enjoy my grand closes. So yeah, I think that one was one of my favorites. Besides, I've seen it all. That one was great. So yeah, nice soundtrack, and I'll watch the movie very soon. So have I anything to add to that? I'm really surprised um, that there is like some huge orchestrations. I didn't really expect that. While I heard some orchestrations by Björk so far, for example, also it for Sora, but I wouldn't like thought that she was going straight into that after Homogenic. And it's 3 years after Homogenic right here, so I wonder how Vespertine will sound. That's a 2001 album, and it's very beloved. I read that in the comments so often that it's just a so beloved album. So I'm really excited for that also. So yeah, I will see you then, right? See ya. So yeah, my final thoughts about the album Selma songs or the movie Dance in the Dark. Well, I watched the movie just like one day ago, yesterday, and I'm still very surprised by how that movie turned out. Well, after listening to the soundtrack or the album, and there are no spoilers right here if you still want to watch the movie, but I guess everyone who clicked on this video has already watched it, but still. Dance in the Dark is a very depressing and emotionally brutal album or film, not a album, film, and which caught me pretty off guard when watching it. The storyline is fantastic, I have to tell you that straight up, but yeah, maybe the movie is made a little cheap if you just like look at it objectively, but it gets a very terrifying, broken, and fragile feeling through the cheap production, like the very wobbly filters on the cheap cameras and the very weird camera kind of work when they were like getting some velocity, and it's weird. Like it could just like break every second. Obviously, the music is fantastic. I reacted to it, right, and it's pretty different in the album than in how it was used in the movie, but some tracks really made sense when watching the movie. So I quite enjoyed watching how they would unfold. But I think that if you listen to the music, it's quite fulfilling and easy to listen to when you just listen to the album Selma songs, while there are a lot of experimental sides about it. But in the context of the movie, the soundtrack is a combination that is just strange, sad, creepy, and sometimes even confusing. And for that, I love the soundtrack and movie. Maybe I even loved the movie more than I did the soundtrack of the album, or whatever you like to call it. But yeah, on Selma songs, I'm feeling a strong 7 to a light 8. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Also, soon is going to come Medulla, the next album I'm going to do, and I'm really also really hyped about that one. I'm going to do that in a couple of days, so you can probably guess that it's going to be uploaded this week and this end of the week maybe, but we'll see how my schedule will be until that point. So see you then.